Hello and welcome to another video here with Flight Anoop. Today we are going to be flying the last flight performed by Spirit Airlines before they shut down the last weekend over there. So we're going to be performing flight number NK1833 using the airframe N604NK here from Detroit Metro Wayne over to Dallas Fort Worth using the Fenix A320-200. So let's go ahead and perform this flight, sort of like a commemoration for Spirit Airlines. So let's go ahead and jump into the cockpit, get things started up here in this Fenix aircraft. All right, I've got my flight plan from SimBrief right here. We've got that downloaded and it is good to go there. Ground services, we got GPU connected, chokes and cones there are engaged there. Come to mass and balance. Okay, we've got our load sheet here, planned at 87. Planned at 87 for fuel, 23 for cargo, 158 passengers today planned for today's flight. That all sounds great. So let's go ahead and begin loading our aircraft and energizing it from cold and dark. Let's go ahead and power up our aircraft right here. Aircraft has been powered up. Let's go crew oxygen supply to on. Recorder, ground control, that can come on. Let's put our ADAR systems, nav right there. Emergency lights armed, nav lights up and running, strobe lights down to automatic, seatbelt signs on, no smoking signs on. There we go, we are all good up there. Let's begin loading our aircraft using GSX, and we're gonna do that boarding and refueling, but we're gonna do it in how should we do it? Let's just do boarding and refueling with GSX right there. So we're waiting for our ground services to come to life, and our aircraft here has pretty much energized. Okay, looking decent there. Let's come down here to our FMGC. Let's request our flight plan. There we go, we've got our flight plan in. Flight number for today is NK1833 or NKS1833. Just use that. Our cost index for today is just 5. Let's put that in. Cruising altitude at 34,000 feet. Oh, that's all done. IRS initialization. Confirm that. There we go, done. All of that is done perfectly. Let's go to our flight plan. KDTW, departure out of Detroit Metro is going to be from runway 21 right. 21 right is right here. We're going to be using this departure right here, okay? S&D RS3, that's the one. Any transitions today? We'll use this guy right here. Insert that. Come down to our destination. Arrival is going to be into runway 13 right. ILS 13 right Z. We'll use that for our approach. Our arrival procedure is going to be sieve. Let's see if we have it. Our transition today is going to be, if we have any transition, right here, and let's insert that into our flight plan. If we go through our flight plan now, there shouldn't be any discontinuities, and there isn't. Okay, there's just a manual vector right there. That's fine. We've got vectors. That's fine. We'll just leave it exactly the way it is. Everything else is looking good. All right, let's see how this is going. We've got all the passengers boarded. Go outside and take a look at that. There you go. Fueling is just connecting up right now. The fuel truck is here, and after the fuel truck the cargo loading will begin. But for some reason, the jetways here aren't really working properly, are they? At least not for me. I think the GSX is off whack here. I need to install the GSX profile. Anyway, doesn't matter. We've got our refueling connected up right there. Let's go into our tablet and check whether that's happening. Yes, it is. Our fueling is happening. Passengers are done. We're just waiting for cargo. And once that's ready, we can get on out of here. Let me try and set up IRS aligning in 5 minutes. Okay, that's fine. Local pressure today, 2965. That is fine. We cannot set up the MCP before we have finished setting up our FMGC. So let's just wait for the IRS alignment and for the loading process to finish up before we continue any further. All right, we've got our aircraft loaded up and everything done as it should. We've got our cargo, passengers, and fuel in. Let's send our information to the MCDU down here. Let's go to performance. Actually, let's go and check whether the weights have been inputted correctly. Yes, they have. Zero fuel weight and block fuel. Everything has been done correctly, which is great. Let's calculate our takeoff performance. Come down here, go to takeoff performance, sync our load sheet. Let's go to flaps 1. There you go. Sync everything. V1, VR, V2. That looks good. 1, flaps 1 down 0.2. 2. Okay, that all looks good. Let's send that to the MCDU, and we've got our performance information in there as well. There we go, everybody. That means we're pretty much ready here to set up our MCP. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's turn on FD, which it has. Manage mode available on both speed and heading. Let's climb out towards 10,000 feet initially, which we've got manage mode on as well, after which we'll climb on towards 34,000 feet. Put this on nav. Okay, reduce the range on that. That looks perfectly fine as it is. Great. Let's adjust some lights for better visibility. Get some floodlights going. Get that going as well. There we go. Get some floodlights here as well. I don't like the way how the cockpit looks at the moment. Go up here. We should have some lights available, right? There we go. Yeah, that looks much better. That all being said, let's I think we're ready for pushback. Yep, I think we're already ready for pushback. Let's go up here. Our APU running. There we go. We got our APU running. Our passenger loading was not accurate today. GSX was not able to make the jetway connect and all that stuff, so it's not that big of a deal. Once all of that is done, let's go ahead and get our pushback started up here. Whilst we wait for our APU to power up here, which is happening right now, let's go ahead and take a look at our flight plan for the day. All right, so here we are at Detroit Metro. We're parked here at gate D11. We are going to push back this way with our nose to the right, and from there we're going to taxi on towards the beginning of runway 21 right. It's going to be a fairly long taxi, I suppose. We're going to have to taxi using that way. Yeah, it's gonna be a long taxi, but once we take off, we're just going to head down south. Fairly easy departure procedure right there. Very easy arrival procedure into Dallas Fort Worth, and over here we've got some vectors, some manual headings that we need to manage, but once that's done, we should be able to capture the ILS here at Hodax into runway 13 right into Dallas Fort Worth. There we go. That is our flight plan for the day. Really simple. That's literally it. Let's put that away. Gonna go ahead and request pushback. For pushback and departure. We got our external power still connected up. We should disconnect that, shouldn't we? Let's go down here. Ground services. We don't need the GPU. Our APU is running now. Yes, it is. Pretty sure it is. Disconnect that. There we go. Our parking brake is on. Yes, it is. Shocks and cones. We can remove that as well. All right. Let's wait for pushback. Go. Pushback is underway. We'll be out of here in no time, and then we'll proceed with engine start. All right, our pushback has begun now. Let's go ahead and start up our engines here. Go up here and get our beacon lights going, and pretty much it, right? Let's put our fuel pumps on. Don't need to worry about anything else. We can go ahead and up our engines. Ignition start. Engine number 1. There we go. N2 rising. For some reason pushback has stopped. Don't understand what pushback is doing. I think GSX has serious issues with this scenery. I don't have the GSX profile for it, so it's acting a little bit weird here. Let's just wait for our first engine to start up, and then we'll sort out what's going with the... It's very difficult to get a flight up and running in MSFS right off the bat without having to make sure every single thing is in order. Alrighty, we have pushed back and lined up with our taxiway there. Engine number 1 is up and running. Let's go to engine number 2 now. Up and running for us here. N2 rising well. Engine number 2 coming to life. Drop our flaps. Okay, everything looks good here. Let's put our auto brake on max, ground spoilers to armed. Let's get our TCAS up and running on standby mode for the time being, obviously. Okay, fantastic. Oh, let's put our taxi lights on. Got both engines available, up and running. Let's turn off our APU bleed and the APU master switch right there. Looking good. Let's turn on our wing light. Everything else is looking good and we are ready. We can release our parking brake. There we go. We are rolling. Alright, we are holding short of runway 21 right, where we're going to be taking off from today. Let's jump into the cockpit and get our aircraft up and ready for takeoff. Right, here we are. Let's get a bit of floodlight going here. What's going on? Why is the floodlight not working? Oh, none of our floodlights are working all of a sudden. That's interesting. Let's put our engine ignition on normal. It should have been on normal by now, but hey, interesting. Okay, I'm gonna get predictive wind shear up and running, system 1 here. You can put all of that. It's supposed to be. Okay, that's done, and our takeoff configuration can be tested. All good right there. We're gonna ignore the company message, but everything else is ready. For some reason, our floodlights aren't working at the moment, and I don't know why that is. Let's come up here. Taxi lights to, landing lights to on. Nose light all the way to takeoff right there. Onward turn off lights can come on. Strobe lights can come. So we look good here. Should mean we're pretty much ready to get out there and take off this particular runway. So release parking brake. Oh, this is locked. Let's go and take off. Line up here with the runway. Yep, just like that. Set our takeoff thrust. Right, looking good. Rotate. Get up. All right. That was a pretty wonky takeoff there, but we're up and out of here. That's what matters, right? Put our thrust lever to climb. Why is that not working? Okay, for some reason that has decided not to work. Put our flaps up. Give it off to the autopilot there. Where is our thrust lever? I can't see. There we go. It's in climb right there. Yep. There we go. It's working. Let's increase the range on that. Looking good. Let's increase the range on that. There we go. Let's disarm the ground spoiler right there. Flaps are up. Runway turn off lights can come off. Wing lights can remain on there. Let's put our nose lights all the way off. Looking good so far. All right. Some beautiful scenery as we turn around there. Look at that. Looks really cool. Lovely cabin view here as well. Absolutely beautiful. Coming up through 7,000 feet. Wonderful. All right. We're going to climb out towards 10,000 feet first, and then from there, we're going to input 34,000 feet. I don't know what's going on today, but we've got a few issues with the flight sim. It wouldn't be an MSFS flight if everything worked as it should. Got a little bit of a floodlight issue. It's not working at the moment for me for some reason. I don't exactly understand the logic behind that. Maybe there is one, and yeah, nothing seems to be. We are resuming our climb here after the altitude restriction, coming on towards 10,000 feet. So let's get towards 10,000 feet, and then we'll jump back into the cockpit. But for now, let's enjoy some views, eh? Okay, we're coming up on 10,000 feet here. Let's go up towards 34,000 feet. Manage mode climb, just like that. So we'll continue on towards 34,000 feet directly. Let's turn off our landing lights here. Strobe, beacon, wing, and nav lights on. Let's put our seatbelt signs and no smoking signs to off. And we are looking good, everybody. There we go. We're going to continue our climb towards cruising altitude now. Okay, so I shall chime in with you guys when we reach our cruising altitude, and then we shall see where we can take it from there. Alrighty, we have reached our cruising altitude of 34,000 feet. Everything is looking good here. We're continuing on our journey towards Dallas Fort Worth. So if we take a look at little nav map, we're still in our departure procedure here, out of Metro Wayne there. Yeah, we're still in our departure procedure. It's a pretty long departure procedure, but very straightforward. We've already reached our cruising altitude, and we're gonna continue our journey down here towards Dallas. All right, everything is looking good. Everything is looking good. There's nothing else to do except to continue this cruise, and I shall see you guys at top of descent, pretty much. So I should also mention that the floodlights have now magically started working. So we got floodlights again in the cockpit. But anyway, I shall see you guys at the top of descent. Alright everybody, we're coming up on our top of descent now. We can see it right here and right here. So let's go ahead and enter destination data like it does request in our MacDo right here. So let's go to do that. Go to our destination data right here and let's put some information in as we need to. I think we can do that from here. Arrival performance. Can actually do that, can't we? Kinda can, but anyway. Let's go ahead and use the sim brief one, which I'm calculating right now. On the side, we can actually go up here. You guys can see me doing that. Performance, come down here. Oh, we need to be quick. For descent is coming up. Let's come down here, populate that right there. Okay, QNH 2965, 2965. Let's put that in. Temperature today 22 degrees Celsius. We're gonna put that in. Wind 200 at 16 knots. Let's put that in. There we go. Flight transition level is there. Landing configuration is full. We're gonna use 200 as minimums on radio. And there we go. That is completely done. We got our destination data ready to go. Our final descent altitude today is supposed to be 2,300 feet before we are expected to catch the ILS. So let's go ahead and put that in. Okay, 2,400. Okay, we're ready to descend. As soon as we reach top of descent, we'll go ahead and press that and get our descent here started up. But for now, we are looking pretty good. Let's check out what we can see from the cabin views. There we go. As we come up on our top of descent, we are looking good here, everybody. Looking beautiful. All right. I wonder what the weather is going to be like. We've got a moonlit night here for us, and because of that, visibility is pretty good out our windows, which is nice. Always nice to land with good visibility at night. Makes them more fun. But yeah, we're looking good all across the board. That view there looks absolutely fantastic as we come up on our top of descent. Alrighty. So yeah, we'll command the descent in about 20 nautical miles. Topper descent coming up right there. Time for us to begin that descent and command our aircraft. Go ahead and descend. It's supposed to notify us as topper descent has been reached. Well, maybe not. There we go. Topper descent reached, and we have begun our descent. There we go, everybody. A managed descent here by Airbus. Let's go ahead and set our auto brake. We just need low auto brakes today. Plenty of runway room when we land. Let's arm the ground spoilers right there as such. All our lights are, well, we don't need to turn on our landing lights yet. Seatbelt signs and stuff can wait till about 10,000 feet. We're okay. It's just a 1500 descent here. Everything looking good as we are descending down towards our destination, which is Fort Worth in Dallas. And if you take a look at our instrument here, there is the runway we're supposed to be landing into. That right there is where we're expected to catch our ILS, and that is our manual vector right there. So we'll fly along this direction before turning in the runway where we're supposed to land. That is 13. The airport itself is about 100 nautical miles away from us, but we'll be there in no time. So let's continue on our descent here, and I shall chime in with you guys as we near 10,000 feet where we have more stuff to do. But for now, we're just continuing on our descent, completely managed by the autopilot, of course. Nothing else for us to do here. So I shall chime in with you near 10,000 feet. Yep, I shall do that. Okay, we are at 11,000 feet. We're dropping our speed down towards 250 knots, and we can continue to descend below 10,000 feet here. Let's take a look at where we are right now. There we go, quite close to the airport there. We can reduce the range right there. There is our runway for today. Everything looking quite well here today. All right, let's come back in here. Let's see what we can do. Now, we're nearing 10,000 feet. It is time for us to turn on our landing lights. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's turn on our passenger signs so that nobody has a rough time in the cabin per chance. There we go. Everything else looking good. We'll turn on our runway turn off and nose lights later on in the approach and landing phases. Okay, but for now, there is something here that we can do as we cross 10,000 feet, and that is to double check the ILS frequencies that has been tuned into our FMC or McDo here rather. So the frequency for today is supposed to be 109.50 at a course of 136 identifier ILWN into Dallas Fort Worth. Let's go ahead and check that out. ILWN 109.50 course of 137 with a -3 degree slope, and all of that is fine. We've got DME available as well today, and yeah, we should be just fine right here, everybody. All right, that frequency has been double checked there. Don't have anything tuned in our VORs and stuff. We should have DME available as we get in closer towards the airport. It should show up somewhere around here if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, we are continuing our descent, everybody. We're well below 10,000 feet now at 8,700, and yeah, we're looking good. We could cancel this vector now and rather just turn in directly in. Should we try that? Let's do that. Let's clear this manual right there. Let's clear this flight discontinuity right there. Let's try that. So that will mean we're just gonna go in direct. Just gonna go in directly towards the ILS, the waypoints at the ILS. We're gonna go to Hori and Papa. By Hodax, we're supposed to be at 2,300 feet. I think we'll be just fine. So let me show you guys a little nav map here. There we are, everybody. We're coming into land right there. That is supposed to be the manual leg or the vector right there. We have just canceled that out. We've got a straight leg from Yabt, or however you want to pronounce that, on towards Mori. So we are going directly towards from Yabt to Mori now. At Mori, we're supposed to be at 2,300. Apparently, glide slope is there. I'm not sure, but we'll maintain that. And somehow at Papa, we're supposed to be above 3,000. So I suppose we're coming in at 3,000 feet, even at Mori and Papa, if the aircraft follows that correctly. It should. And yeah, So there you go, straight in, down towards the shorter runway here at Dallas at 9,300 feet. We don't need medium auto brakes today, so I'm going to leave it at low. I think we should be just fine. From there, we'll find ourselves a little parking somewhere to park. And yeah, there you go. There you go, everybody. There you go. Terminal C, Terminal E. I believe Terminal E is where Spirit would park in, if I'm not completely mistaken. So we might want to take ourselves from this runway right here to somewhere here. Continuing on our descent, we do have that 3,000 feet altitude restriction that the aircraft is following really well. That looks fantastic. As we come into land. Oh, we're passing through some clouds, eh? Look at that. We can see the wing fade effect right there. That was really cool. That was really cool. Looks much more realistic. Brilliant stuff. Oh yeah. GFX is doing its job from Sim. GFX is definitely doing its job. I like seeing that. That is great. Oh, that's perfect. Look at that wing fade right there. So good. Very nice. Alrighty. That is looking great. Okay, we're breaking out of the clouds right here. That looks fantastic to me. Look at that. Looking great as we come into land here at Dallas. We still got some way to go towards Dallas Fort Worth. Okay, we're making our final turn towards runway direction right here. Let's go towards localizer. Make sure we capture that. There we go. Localizer has already been captured. We are ready to turn on our approach mode. So we'll leave approach mode on as well. Wait for the glide slope. Let's go towards LS on both sides. We should have done that before, right? I believe before, yeah, but that's okay. Let's go LS on this side. Put down the range on this side. Speed is decreasing. We should probably drop our flaps to position. Oh, too early. Right there, let's just wait for that. And we can begin configuring our aircraft for landing. So let's help our aircraft. We're still at 3,000 feet, so we still got some time. Now it's time to drop our flaps here. Let's do that. Flaps to position number 1. I don't know if that was just the flaps or the slats, but whatever, we just dropped. Oh, we've just dropped our slats. Hold on. 2,500. We can drop our gear now. So let's go ahead and do that. Our landing gear should drop. There we go. Landing gear is dropping. Excellent. Excellent. Let's head back into the cockpit there. That'll give us that extra drag. Glide slope has been caught. We've got... Oh, our crosswind is really bad. Not good at landing the A320. Oh my lord, we got crosswind. This is gonna be fascinating. Alright, waiting for flaps to go down to full. A little late here on the configuration for sure. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna... Our speed brakes down. Okay, there we go. Speed brake coming down. Runway turn-off lights on. Nose light right there to take off. Pretty late on this. Okay. Flaps down again. Position 2. We gotta be quick with this. We don't have much room to work with. Let's go ahead and push this through, shall we? Alright, one more on the flap. There we go. Flaps 3. There we go, 1,000 feet. Flaps full. To ground spoilers to armed there. Go, we're ready for landing. Configured and ready for landing. Alright, everybody, here we go. I'm gonna disconnect and take manual control now. Okay, my aircraft. Yeah, this is pretty bad.
100 above.
Yeah, this is gonna be pretty bad. The wind is pretty bad.
Minimum.
Proceed. Okay.
20. Retard. Drive.
All right. That's good enough. Okay. All right. That was interesting, to say the least. I'm still getting thrown off by these effects over here. I forgot to put in my rudder. Yeah, I need to work on that. These landing effects are really throwing me off. So yeah. Okay. There we go. Welcome to Dallas, everybody. I have no idea how that landing went. I need to work on this landing effects because they're really throwing me off. I forgot to use the rudder there to correct the crabbing at the final second there. But anyway, we've made it back into Dallas. Let's go ahead and put our parking brakes up. Sorry, not parking brakes, flaps up. Put that down and let's get some lights going here, shall we? Get some lights going here. We can continue on this way. Landing lights can come off. We can put this to taxi. I can come off. We can put strobe lights to auto now. Gas can come down to standby. Predictive wind shear can come off and go to off as well. All right, let's now go ahead and taxi to our parking. There we go. We're taxiing in. All right, here we are parking in to one of the gates at Terminal E. There we go. We'll stop it right there because we can't really see what's going on. Okay, let's put on the parking brake right there. Down here. There we go. I think that's good enough of a parking. Could let the aircraft roll a little bit more. Let it roll just till there. Okay. We can now go ahead and take a look at the landing replay if that worked at all. So let's go ahead and check those out. Okay, let's see how this landing replay went. I don't expect that landing to have been good. Again, I did not use the correct rudder inputs to correct the crabbing right there. Let's see how that went. Here we are coming in. Floaty for sure. There we go. Yeah, and down. Yeah, that's almost a tail strike right there, isn't it? That was a very high angle of flare there, and I'm pretty sure that was almost a tail strike. Not exactly, but almost a tail strike. Let's go ahead and see a few more landing replays. Okay, we have a side view right here, just so we can see if that was actually a tail strike or not. Because that is terrible, man. That is terrible. I've been performing quite a number of terrible landings here in the sim. Let's see. No, that was not exactly a tail strike or anything like that. It was just a long, floaty, firm touchdown. But nothing too terrible, actually. Definitely not as bad as the FS realistic effects made it seem like. So yeah, not too terrible. Alrighty, let's go ahead and take a look at a few more landing replays. Okay, let's check it out from this angle one more time. There we go, coming into land. You can see the runway lights there. Beautiful. Floating there. Quite an excessive amount of float. But there we go, there's the touchdown. Alright. Okay. Let's check out what the passengers saw. So we'll check it out from this view. Okay. That's not too bad. Some of the effects are not working in this particular view, I see. Yeah, the cabin shaking and all that is not working properly. I need to configure that. Anyway, we'll take a look at it from this angle as well. I think the thrust reversers and the spoilers do not work properly in Sky Dolly replay for the Fenix aircraft. But apart from that, everything seems to be functioning. Last landing replay, let's check it out. Yeah, the cabin effects, the camera effects are not working from the cabin view for some reason. I need to go and check that out. All right, everybody. Apart from that, welcome to Dallas and on the last ever Spirit Airlines flight right there. Let's go ahead and shut down our aircraft now. Okay, we're back here in the cockpit and certain things have deployed for some reason. Anyway, let's go ahead and turn on our APU here. Probably done that whilst taxiing, but that's okay. Turn on our APU, get the lights back into the correct position after the landing replay. Taxi lights off right there. There we go. Wing lights can come off as well there. Looking good. Let's go to ground services and actually ask for our GPU so we can shut down our engines. Shut down our engines like so. Okay, engines shutting down. There we go. Back in here. Our APU is coming to life. That is just fine. Let's go and ask for deboarding, right? So come down here, deboard. Thank you very much. Get that off. We don't have a turnaround. This is the last flight ever. So let's go ahead and turn off our ADRs anyway. Crew oxygen supply off, our fuel pumps off. There we go, like right there. Beacon lights off, passenger signs off for the last time there. What else can we do? What else can we do? I believe everything else is pretty much the way it should be, isn't it? Yes, it is. APU is running. So there we go. There we go, everybody. Are our flaps up? Yes, that is done. Good. So there we are, ladies and gentlemen. The last ever Spirit Airlines flight completed from Detroit Metro on to Dallas Fort Worth. We've had lots of issues today with the GSX and the aircraft glitching and quite not as great a landing as I would liked either, but nonetheless that was a bit of fun right there. The gate is a little bit wonky. It's not really working with the GSX at the moment. I do remember having GSX profile installed for this particular aircraft, so I don't know what's up with that. But anyway, thank you very much everybody for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed that little video, and goodbye Spirit Airlines, right? Sadly, we're gonna have to say goodbye to Spirit Airlines after 34 something years of operation, if I'm not mistaken, without any fatal incidents. Goodbye Spirit Airlines, and thank you very much for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe, etc, etc, and I shall see you guys in my live streams or in the next video, and until then, have a good day. Bye bye.